Hello, welcome back to this course. We have just seen this case study. Hope you liked and even enjoyed that. Okay, now we are getting into the actual course. Okay, as I mentioned, there are seven sections in this course. What you see here. Let us start with section number one: key concepts of pricing. So, in this section, we'll be discussing about such concepts about which participants need crystal clarity because these concepts are required for you to get a complete grip about the pricing subject. Okay, and we'll be discussing about these concepts throughout this course overall. Okay, so in this section, we'll discuss about these six key concepts. Okay, so in this video, we'll go through first concept, true relationship between a price, cost, and margin. So remaining five concepts, there will be separate videos subsequently in this section. Okay, now let's understand the true relationship between price, cost, and margin. So these are the three important parameters, what we are going to discuss. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, pricing is a very complex, very critical subject area. How do you work out your price depends upon several factors: your supply demand issues, your strategy, your customer strategy, your competitor strategy. Also, you need to work your approach based on that. Sometimes the geographic related issues will be there, political issues might be there. So many aspects would impact your pricing decision in general, right? So that's why pricing is very complex subject. So we'll not be discussing about all those factors in depth in this course because our focus is slightly different. So but we'll look into the key relationship between these three parameters. Okay, and like I said earlier, there is a different perspective. There are two perspectives to understand the relationship between these three parameters. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss. Normally people follow one approach. We are going to discuss about a different approach, right? Which would help you in improving your win ratio, right? So because this is not only our experience, we're all we have implemented this approach, right? In the different projects or different organizations where I work, but this has been the experience of several practitioners in the industry. Okay, so in fact, when in my previous organization, when I was delivering this course, more than 95% of the people used to give this feedback. Sharath, this is one of the key takeaways for us from this course. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss now. Okay, so before we get into, there is a small quiz for you. How much will you pay? Right? So how much will you pay for one banana? So if at all you have a good habit of paying money and buying fruits, how much would you like to pay? Anyway, since it's online course, I would like to answer on your behalf. Say 15 cents. Good. How much would you like to pay for one apple? Say 50 cents, right? How much for one organic apple? Right. So you understand that organic apple is, much expensive in the sense, because it takes more efforts to produce because they have to take care of, several precautions, quality norms, etc. Right. So that's why as a customer, you are willing to pay $1 because you understand it's worth $1. Okay. Good. No doubt in it. Right. So in this, who are you? What is your role? When I say you are paying, right? What is your role? Yes. So you're the customer, right? And as a customer, you understand, you have an idea how much it is worth paying. Agree? Right? Just now you have seen that normal apple 50 cents and organic apple $1 you are willing to pay. Right? So in general, as a customer knows how much it is worth, right, paying. Right? I'm not talking about don't get into individual cases. XYZ customer, they may not know much. We always have to suggest them. I'm not getting into those exceptions. In general, customers know, right? Okay, now if this Apple vendor says, look, I had to go to faraway market and I had to transport all the fruits in a separate vehicle, whatever it is, and he says in my shop, organic apple is 1.25 dollars, right? So would you like to pay? May not be, right? Because you feel it is worth only $1, right? So in that case, what will you do? You'll go to next shop, right? So if your quotation is much higher than the customer's expectation, what will your customer do? They'll go to next vendor. That's it, right? So it is as simple as that. Okay. Now let us get into, as I said in this video, we are going to discuss about two different perspectives. Let me explain this with this small IT example. First, let us discuss about the perspective which generally most of the people have been following. Then I'll show you the other perspective. Okay. Suppose your customer says, look, I need one mobile app to be developed, right? Typically, what will you do? You understand the customer requirement and you estimate your efforts, how much it would, require for you to develop the mobile app. You do all these things. You put all your costs and you say that is 80K is my cost for developing that, and I need some 20K margin. So typically, that's what actually what people do. So I would like to quote 100K, for this mobile app development, right? So now let us look at the first approach, right to left, right? So what I mean by first approach, of course, in this equation, price is equal to cost plus margin. Cost and margin are in the right side. That's what actually I mean by right, okay? Price is on the left side. So now if you think this from right to left, okay? So this is my cost of delivery and this much margin I need. That's why I would like to quote 100K, right? This is internal perspective. This would not help you really, right? So I don't say which is wrong or right, but certainly I can say that based on the experience of the people in the industry, this approach being followed by the majority of the people would not really help you in every case, right? Then which approach you need to follow? You need to follow from left to right. What is the meaning of that? It's like this. Our customer feels it is worth 90K, right? Our market price, market price means your competitors, right? So it is worth 90K, right? And we need 15K margin. We means your organization, right? You need some 15K margin, right? So in that case, we have to deliver within 75 costs, right? So you need to first get the clarity of how much price is reasonable, how much price would fly in the market, right? What is expected by the customer, right? So if at all that is, because that is a frozen, right? That's the constant, right? If at all that price only would fly, then to meet that, how much, and margin also is more or less frozen, right? Because your organization expects some margin, right? In that case, you have to work out that how you could develop the solution within, 75 costs, right? That's what actually what we're trying to say. This is customer perspective, left to right thinking, right? So this is not any great theory. I'm not talking about any, quantum physics here, right? It's a very simple technique, practical approach being followed by majority of the people in the industry. If you get into this, at least, wherever it is practical, believe me, it improves, it helps you in your converting your proposals into a confirmed orders. That's what actually is the experience of the people, right? Now, so what you're trying to say, do not compute your price based on your cost, right? Don't compute your price based on how much your cost is. Instead, compute your cost based on the price, how much price would fly. That's it. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, now the biggest challenge here is, how do you know this? Now I say that you have to say that how much is your customer is expecting, 90K, whatever. How do you know that? That's the biggest challenge, right? So for that you need market intelligence, your customer intelligence, whatever it, right? So you have to get into this. You need to have your intelligence. You're not just submitting some quotation, right? You need to understand your customer's expectation. Sometimes they may have some budget. It gives an indication. Sometimes you may have a rapport with the customers, talk to them, look customer, what exactly you think. You meet the different stakeholders within the CAO team or a business team, right? Everything legal, right? Everything formal. Talk to them, understand them, what exactly they have in mind, how much they think that it's maybe, it's worth, how much they think it would fly, right? If at all, they share. But you have to be careful. Some contracts, there's a clear mandate given by the, procurement department. You are not supposed to, you mean service provider. They are not supposed to interact with any of the business community. Be careful wherever such kind of, constraints. Otherwise, try to find out. Okay, you can do, you can use your relationship and try to find out if at all, right? And how do you find out how much is your competitors, likely, amount they're likely to quote? Again, there are different approaches. Suppose, in this case, XYZ is your key competitor, right? So, say, there's a cloud implementation, for in UK market. So now, for a same scale of cloud implementation, that particular competitor in the near past, right? How much they quoted, right? There are different ways. That's why I said market intelligence itself is a very complex subject, okay? In sales field, we are not getting into the depth. But all that what I'm trying to say is you have to have that kind of orientation. It may work every case. In some cases, you may not be able to get that. That's okay. Wherever it is possible, try to get that. That's what you are trying to say, because that would help you your chances of winning the deal. That's all. Okay. So now, but this logic will not be applicable for 100% of the cases. Right, what left to right approach. Why? Because sometimes your customers may expect unreasonable price. Right. So whatever may be the case, intentional, unintentional, we don't know. Right. Sometimes your competitors, they may come out with a throwaway price, because their strategy is to somehow enter into that customer's estate, whatever it is. Right. So you may not be able to meet the market expected price each and every time. It may not be possible. That's okay. Right. But keep this in mind. Instead of always going internal perspective, try to get into customer perspective. That's all. Okay. Now, if price is decided by the customer and competition, margin is decided by your internal organization. So your focus is how do you develop that solution within the available cost. That's it. That's why there is something called cost of delivery. Right. That's what actually the key focus for delivery community. Right. Of course, you can also influence the price through value-based delivery. So it's a separate topic, separate this thing we'll discuss when we get into pricing strategies. Value-based pricing strategy we'll discuss. What it says is, you can always say, look, customer, in my case, my price would be 130K, right? Because I'm going to provide a lot of value to you, right? You need to convince the customer, and customer may be willing to pay you 130K even. That's a different topic altogether, right? But in general, when you are bidding and you are competing with your nearest competitor based on the price, so this approach you need to follow. Okay, now there's a small quiz for you. Do you agree price is equal to, okay, price should not depend upon the cost. So if I make this statement, do you agree, yes or no? Okay, pause this video because this is a very important question. What we discussed last 6-7 minutes. Pause this video, think and answer. Price should not depend upon the cost. Do you agree, yes or no? Fine. So price is based on the value perceived by the customer. That's what we discussed. Cost is internal issue of the vendor, right? Your customer is not concerned how much is your internal cost, right? They're not concerned, right? It's your internal issue, right? The previous Apple example, the Apple vendor says I had to go far away market. That's why in my shop, right, it is $1.25. You will not buy. You will simply go to next shop, right? So this is what actually the key takeaway from this, video. Right, what we are going to discuss here. If you deliver at a low cost, you enjoy high margin, right? In this example, if you deliver instead of 75K, right, and if you deliver within 65K, right, you enjoy better margin. You enjoy 25K margin, right? If you deliver at a high cost, then your margin will come down. As simple as that. Okay. Hence, ideally, price should not depend upon the cost. So this is the key takeaway. This is a key message. This is a key learning from this video. Okay. Now what? If you are not convinced, play this video once again, right? So if you are not convinced with this, all that I can request you is play this video once again. Even then, if you are not convinced, leave it. Nothing wrong. I'm just sharing my experience and experience some other practitioners. You may agree, you may not agree. It's your decision purely. Okay? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So that's it. What we want to discuss in this first concept. Now let's get into next concept in the next video. See you there. Bye.